Hello everybody, welcome one and all. I am on the Wednesday group, Rosemary, because I've got here, I'm live now in the Wednesday afternoon drawing group. What group are you on? What planet am I on? What's going on? It'll be Facebook playing about, because today and tomorrow is when they change everything over. So it's probably your Facebook, I'm afraid to say. You might have to refresh and sort it out, girl. Because I'm definitely in the group, because I've just watched the video because my screen's crashed here. So I've watched the video by going to the Wednesday group, but I did have to refresh my phone and sort it out that way. It's nice to have 10 of you. Oh, well, this is... No, you haven't done these before. We have done silver birches before, but we haven't done this image before, and we haven't done it like this before.
I've got 10 watching.
Hello Heather, hello Dee, hello Liz, hello Rosemary, hello Louise, who else am I saying hello to? Hello Norman. Hopefully you're all seeing me. Yes, we did, we added mushrooms. So we've done silver birches before, but they were on the right hand side. With fly agarics, and I added some gnomes to mine, didn't I? But we haven't done it in this way. That's all right, Sue. I know where you live. I'll hunt you down. What is it? What is it? Where there's that one, isn't there? That Taken, isn't it? Where he's on the phone and he goes, I can't remember. We'll have to have a look at that now, and I'll do it. I know who you are. I know what you want.
She wants to do the portrait.
I do have a very particular set of skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Oof. Quite scary.
I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't pay the lesson, I will look for you. I will find you. And I'll do a portrait of you.
Oh.
Right. Yes, you put berries in them. Oh, I'm dropping everything. My mouse is... Where's that gone? Oh, here it is. Right. So, I will put the rumour to bed now. We have done a silver birch woodland. We have not done this silver birch woodland. Hi, Sue. Hi, Sandra. Yeah, graphite powder's fine. Hello, Rob. I've managed to empty those 3 crates, so I'll try and get them over to you over the next week, if that's all right. Sue's saying that she hasn't paid for this lesson, Liz. So I was just doing the speech, the threat from Taken, where he's on the phone because his daughter's kidnapped. And I'll make you listen to this awful accent for a long time. It's a long time where I'm from, Sue. I actually said a lovely black country word the other day, and I told Rosemary about this. I was chatting to Jackie about something, and I haven't used this word for like 30 years. Werrit. Now it is a very black country word, werrit, and it means worry. Like stop your werriting, or always such a werrit. And it just came out my mouth, which was really weird. So there you go. Jackie's gonna go now because she's had enough of me this morning.
Actually, how?
Did you hear that? She actually says she actually have.
You have made us work.
I have made. Do you know what? Do you know why she's had enough? Because I've actually made her do work, actual work, and she's just not used to it in this shop.
Oh, come off it, man. Right, see you.
Thank you very much.
As if I don't
Hello,
normally
Christine.
work. How rude.
You just sit and drink tea all the day. And bring me biscuits. Which she hasn't bought me any biscuits today, by the way.
That's probably why I'm in a bad mood then. See you.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you. Right. I'll jump onto Discord in a second. Note, so you will need a bit of scrap paper, whatever that will be. I've got an old delivery note here that I'll use. I used it for something else, but I'm going to use it for this as well. So you need a bit of scrap paper, a little bit of sanity, and a pencil. You don't need graphite powder. A graphite stick would be useful. A graphite powder would be useful, but it doesn't matter. No biscuits, Liz. No biscuits. It's a travesty, really. My world is falling apart. Oh no, I don't know. It's Wolverhampton though, isn't it? Them yam yams. No cruising. On the roads or on the cut. Cruising. I know there's the Black Country has a lot of bad boy racers who like use both sides of roads as racetracks, kind of thing. So maybe that's what they mean. Oh, okay. Where you off to? Where you off to, Bobbity Robert? Let me plug my ears in. So we have no Jackie. So as usual, it was lovely to see you earlier, Dee, and I'm sorry I missed you, Rosemary. I've got a lot of sorting out to do this morning. So as soon as Jackie came in, I had to go and do some work. Because we've got all of our we posted off the kids dabbler subscription boxes yesterday, and we've done a good chunk of the grown-up dabbler boxes today, and we've got more tomorrow. So the conveyor belt of packing goods, taping the boxes, labelling the boxes, and all of that kind of thing. Well, no, I've never seen a sign that says cruising. Maybe it's unique to you, Wolverhampton. I don't know. I'm going to get my glasses on. I've got my earpiece in, ready. I'm a bit bunged up today. Burnham-on-Sea. Sounds nice. Where's that? It sounds south, but is it north? I'm rubbish at geography. There we go. Right, am I in? Hello, Discord people. Hello, Rosemary, Robert, Anne, and Chris. Excellent. Yes, I haven't been moving. I've wafted a few things about now, so... Excellent. Oh, hang on. Discord's playing up for me because I need to go and get the camera back on. And oh, that's better. Yes, well, I think it is exciting. Shop Happy approached me yesterday because they saw my post that about all the things that we do, and then they said, did you do art fest? Obviously, you can't do art fest this year. We've started doing a few virtual art events around the country. Would you be interested in trying to get the artists on board to do a virtual art fair? So I said, well, yes, as long as I don't have to do much. Can you hear me on Discord? So Robert can't hear me again, but you can, Rosemary, and you can, Chris. Yeah, I can hear. I can hear Robert, but you can't hear Robert, Rosemary. Oh, is he? I can't go into it now because I'll lose my camera. Let me have a let me have a look. Right, it's 10 past, so I reckon I'm going to have to start in a second. I'll just try and check. Oh, 14 of you. Hello, 14 of you. Welcome. That's lovely to have so many of you with me. So we're going to do a few different ways, because I know we've done a silver birch woodland before, but we're going to do a different version of a silver birch woodland in a different wood. So it's just something different, isn't it? Right, let me put my lamp on. You know I like trees. It's a Barry painting, isn't it? Yes, I am going to do it a slightly different way, because if oh, the horse, it looked really lovely though, Chris. Your horse did. Well, it didn't jump out to me as an I okay. So we've if we were painting this in watercolor, I would probably use masking tape for the trees. I think we've done that before, haven't we? Yeah, we've used masking tape for trees. And I was thinking, I couldn't sleep last night because I was thinking about these trees and all of you lot, because obviously I have no life. And I thought, well, I can't do that because I can't make them like create masks of tree shapes, because that's going to be too complicated. So how can we do this? So I'll hopefully show you a new way. Caught up on All Creatures Great and Small last night, and I didn't realise that Siegfried is Timothy West and Prunella Scales' son. Yes, and if you look at him, he looks like Timothy West. Yeah. So he's from good acting stock. I didn't know. I was chatting to the lady from Shop Happy, who's partly into theatre and stage, and she follows him on Twitter. And she said, "Well, you know who Sonny is?" And I went, "No, I don't know who Sonny is." And she said, "Timothy West." I went, "Timothy West." And she went, "Yes, and Prunella Scales." I went, "Ah." Yeah, they come to Banbury a lot. So I'm just going to go about 4 fingers up from the bottom. Did you know that? I bet you knew that, Liz. To give me a rough horizon line. I'm not going too heavy. Are you with us now, Rosemary? Well, I think it's the internet in general today. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's about 30 seconds. You will always get, you won't get more than less than a 30-second delay. But also don't forget, I will talk about a thing before I do the thing. So when I said I'm going to draw a line, I hadn't drawn the line. So that was an extra 10 seconds on top. Right, so we're going to plan it out. I need to just pop it on the board so I can see it. Good plan. Now, these aren't bright white trees, but they will be useful. Now, what I want to do is, if you've got graphite powder and a sort of cotton wool pad, you can use that, and your paper. If you've got a graphite stick, you can use that, or use a pencil on its side. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of graphite powder on my this. It wasn't the last in the series yesterday, was it? Yes, it's just so gentle and nice, isn't it? Oh yeah, I could. I'd love to be there. Oh, I'm accidentally covered in graphite powder. Yeah, I'm filthy. Anyway, what I'm going to do is move inwards, I don't know, about a finger, 2 fingers with this big sheet of paper. And I'm just going to either rub the graphite stick or pound the powder over that area there. So that will give me a nice line of tree. And then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to move it, I'm going to flip the paper over a little bit and do it probably round about a thumb width, to be honest. Yeah, we're going to for the background ones. Yeah. Well, we're going to sort of tweak them a little bit. Trust the process. Yeah, you could, but because we're going to do the 3 main trees this way, and then fiddle and faff a little bit. Oh gosh. Stick, yeah. So we've created a negative tree. And this goes right the way down to the bottom. It doesn't have to, but it helps to get depth if at least 1 or 2 of the trees are off the page, and then everything else is on the page, kind of thing. They're straight at the moment. Trust me, everybody. Just trust me. Yes, they are straight trees, but they won't be straight trees. I can't show you all of the techniques in the first 20 minutes. Yeah. Well, exactly. And there's nothing else to do with the rest of the 2 hours. So I have to pan it out a little bit. Right, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the same thing, but about halfway, well, 2, 2/3 of the way up, I think I'm going to do this one, because this one's going to fork. So I'm going to go to about like that, and then angle it off. What's that? Thank you for grassing him up, Anne. He needs to be told, doesn't he? You know what he's like. How long have you been married? Too long. I'd have made a head girl. Yeah, and then I'm going to do the same that side. You'd recognise it, Liz, wouldn't you? You can never take a teacher out of school, can you, Liz, really? You end up having to go back in even if the age of your students change a little bit. So I've done exactly the same thing. This one's a little bit thinner. And then I'm going to do the same inside the V shape. I know everybody's is going to look fantastic, you see, so. Except for yours, Chris. For the benefit of Facebook, it may surprise you, or probably not, that Chris is doing his own thing this afternoon. Chris is doing his own version. Well, we are going to we're going to catch up with what you're doing in a bit, I think. We're just doing an additional... Well, we're going to wiggle. I'm going to wiggle in a minute. Yeah, I will. I do. I'm always having a wiggle. So I'm going to do the 3 main trees, I think, like this. So I'm going to go a bit opposite this time. Not right the way down to the bottom. Oh, I've just caught a bit of graphite powder, look. And I've got a bit of a streak going on. That's alright. It's alright if it's gone to a point. Yeah, because it's all gonna be different. It's all gonna be nothing like what we're doing at the minute. So I'm just gonna use the graphite powder now that's left on my doodah. I need a bit more. Where have I put it here? Look at my hands. It looks like I've been working down the pits. Not today. I've been a bit busy. Yeah, this is a little bit thinner than I wanted it to, but I misjudged where I stuck the paper. So as I'm going in now with the graphite powder, hopefully this will all be revealed, that I'm going to use the graphite powder to sculpt the wiggliness of the tree. Not all of it, because it's not all totally wiggly. We might use an eraser in a minute as well. It's Art History on Friday, isn't it, Liz? Yeah, we're sort of bending it and changing the shape. But If it doesn't work, I'm just going to have to wash my hand for a second with a bit of hand sanitizer because I'm absolutely filthy. Filthy. That's marginally better. Oh, I've got the wrong ear on. Hang on a minute. Oh dear. Right, so what I'm going to do with a putty eraser is start to pop on a few knobbles. And it means you can flip out at the front and just bend your tree a little. But by using the paper as a template first, it's just meant that we can waste a bit of time. No, we can keep the paper a little bit whiter. They are, but what you see, the background trees we're going to use the a putty eraser with. I might need to turn my lamp off now because it's getting a bit contrasted. I'm going to go a bit dark now with this. Do 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 do. I can make mine a bit bigger. So for those of you worrying about straight trees, hopefully this has answered your question. A little bit. Yeah, we want big because we're going to be doing thinner later. Obviously today, not later as in another day. I don't think I could cope for 2 days. Do 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 do. Was that you'll all know? It's a Cliff Richard question, I'm afraid. Did he sing a song like "When the girl in your arms is the girl in your heart"? Was it Elvis? I can't remember. It's been in my head all afternoon. Early this. Cliff Richard. Oh, see, I've got Elvis. I've got Elvis. Any offers on? See, Robert thinks it's Cliff Richard. When the girl in your arms. Lyrics, right. The only when I type in "girl in your arms," the only thing coming up is Cliff Richard and the Shadows. There you go. It does sound more like Elvis, Sue. You're right, but then Cliff did a lot of Elvis copying, didn't he? He was like the British Elvis. Elf. Yes, Billy Fury. Right, I'm really going to town with a bit more of my graphite powder. I'm covered in it again already. But we'll have a chance to fiddle in a bit. Oh, it's 15 of you. Hello, 15 of you. You sneak in, don't you? I know. There must all be new people. I know that. Your work's still rubbish. That's fine. No, because you're only listening to me, and I try to keep an even keel with what's going on in my ear. People in Facebook don't realise how much of an amazing professional I am, because I've got several people in my ear nearly every lesson, playing me up something rotten usually, and obviously I have to respond to them, but I have to respond to them more professionally than I possibly would in real life, because I'm public facing. I would miss it. I give as good as I get, and that's fine. That's good. Right, so we're going to be working with the putty eraser. Oh, I have to tell you, at the moment there is a difficulty getting, you know, the Derwent eraser pencils with the brush on the end. We can't get any for love nor money. However, we can get Faber-Castell pencil erasers, which are double-ended. So they've got a soft rubber one end, a hard rubber the other. So when you run out of your pencil eraser, just take your end off with your brush and keep it. That's my advice for now, because there's rumour that it's been discontinued, and I don't know why they discontinue it, because it's really popular. No, well, you can wiggle a little bit. You've got a bit of wiggle room with it, and then when we're going to do the dark bits, you can wiggle a bit more, and then you can do something with the trees. Dee, I know I said to you this morning, but I really loved your door that you did on Thursday. Really nice with the gouache, the green leaves, really nice. You're all doing fantastic work, by the way. You really are. Really fantastic. Right, so what I'm going to do is there's another one to the right of that light tree, and I'm just going to use my putty eraser. Now what it will do is it will give me a slightly softer tree, because we can't get rid of all of the graphite. So this is where we can start to be a little bit more wigglish. Charcoal rubs out much easier. It's interesting, isn't it, with the difference in charcoal. So if we were doing this in charcoal, the charcoal would lift off to a white paper straight away, whereas graphite, we're kind of pushing it into the paper. It was a fiddler's dream, wasn't it, Dee, that picture? There's not a huge amount of fiddling in the bit, but what I tried to do is I tried to appease the fiddlers and the anti-fiddlers at the same time in the lesson. So we either have part fiddle, part loose. You've got a question. What's your question? Yes. Oh, put it the other side then. That's fine. As long as, I mean, what we're aiming for, really, I suppose, is we don't want lots of even number of trees. I know that's going to be really hard to count. So I've got a bit of a gap here, so I'm going to do a thinner tree that doesn't... So the 3 trees that we're doing at the minute don't go to the bottom. And I know this is technically a stump. Oh, I keep forgetting I've got to check on the shop. I'm getting carried away. got no heating at home. I've been having a huge issue with my heating. I mean, I'm renting, so it's my landlord's thing. But during the heat wave, the heating was stuck on hot. I know. And I came home one evening and my house was 36 degrees. I didn't realise there was an extra switch that would switch everything off until 2 days later, so I was really sweltering. And now I have got some hot water, but after the boiler's been looked at, I've got hot water in the morning, but it doesn't last for very long. And then the boiler's on, which is outside, but the heating isn't on. So there's something stopping the heating from the heaters from heating. And I'm fairly hardened, growing up with just one gas fire with the 50p meter as a child. So I'm very much a stick under the jumper on or have a blanket. But when you wake up in the morning at the moment and it's got that chill in the air, isn't there? It's like 5-6 degrees at the moment, so you do feel it. So I have let my landlord know, and hopefully he'll sort it out. Right, so I'm going to do a few more now with the putter, but what I'm doing is I've pinched the eraser to a thinner point, and I'm going to move slightly further back than these two. And these are going to be a little bit thinner. There's that forest, isn't there? This has just reminded me, looking at the base of some of these, there's that forest, is it in Germany or Russia, where all of the trees are almost, they go from the roots up, then there's like a right angle, then they're at a right angle again, and then they go straight up again. And they can't work out what it was. It's almost like there was a big blast. No, my heating generally comes on timer, because I'm in a stone cottage and it's freezing all the time in my house. Winter or summer, it doesn't matter, it's always cold, and I don't mind. Normally I go with from working in education, the 1st of April the heating goes off, the 1st of October the heating comes on a timer, but because I know I've been having issues with it, I've had to have it on just in case, and I'm glad, because I don't need the heating on really, but I need it to be fixed for when I do need the heating on. Right, so I've got that one there. I'm going to go next to it, because I want to have a little bit of a path coming through here, or even a path. Depends how wide it is. Slightly wider base, but not much. Oh, the banana cake I made on Sunday was really nice. There's a little bit of it left. But I finish at 4 today, so I might if I can just abandon the shop and run away, I can get home and maybe do a bit of cooking. And I need some more shortbread. I've run out. No, not shortbread, flapjack. I like my snacks, you see. That's why my waistline is expanding. Right, I'm going to do a little thinner one. There, or a bit further back, not right on the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need to do another one. I'll do it here. Mind you, last night, no, not last night, Monday night, I'd got Postman Pat theme tune in my head. I have no idea where that came from. Right. I this will give us something to work from or with. So I don't know if you can see, because of the way the light's hitting it today, it's a bit weird. So it's a little bit of a haunted woodland. I was just checking what we're doing next week and I can't remember. I only looked a minute ago. Oh, West Highland Terrier. A nice little Westie. A friend of mine had one called Angus. Yeah. Well, you don't want it too dark, because if you sort of kind of look where the sky area is, the trees are actually darker, aren't they? In the image, if I just quickly swizz to the reference, you can see that the almost counter change, but not quite, that the branches are going up through the sky. So we're going to do, these aren't the furthest away trees, we are going to do that with pencil, and I'm going to do it with the 2B or the HB, depending on the make. I'm going to have the pencil on its side. I'm going to go in between these two, I think. Yeah, we've got to have a mess to start with. It wouldn't be an art lesson if we didn't have any mess, would it? So I'm going to do a few thin trees. So yeah, it's the Art History Lectures Friday on the Art of Ancient China. Friday morning. Oh, I've got customers. Better go down. Right, I'm going to have to abandon you. I'll be back in a minute. I need to put my helmet on. Get some of this filthy. Riffy, as I would have said as a kid. Riffy. Right. I'm back. I have returned. I don't think you have signed up for that one, Liz. No, it's a good one though. Right, so well, the foreground ones are going to be mega dark, so we'll be all right if they are a bit too dark. Don't Divant fret. It's only some trees. Got to go behind these trees, though, haven't we? Well, you know, you want to think about that. You know, we always talk about capital Y shapes for trees and things, but you have to think about varying everything slightly, because otherwise it looks a bit samey and it looks a bit boring. And don't put them all on the same line. Bring a few down a little bit. Make it a bit more interesting. I did an extra long sharpen just before class to get a nice long point. They're out of stock as well now. I've got one of the long point Derwent sharpeners in stock, and I can't get any full of the money again. Honestly, I tell you, I was able to get far more stock during lockdown than I am since we've been open the last 6 months. 3 months. Everything's really behind. One order I did, I placed 3 weeks ago. I found out there's up to an 8-week wait because there's fewer staff working. So a little bit of frustrating when you're trying to order stock and you don't know if you're going to get any in for 8 weeks, because how do I know I'm going to use it or sell it? It get to a point where I need to order it before I know I need it. Let me extend this paler tree now. Now, if you have got putty, like a battery rubber or something, you could do thinner branches with some of these trees, if you so desire. Not the darker trees that we've done. Oh gosh, did you try oh, I've got a customer. Be back in a minute. Did you try GTS Sewing Supplies, D, on wherever it is? Right, be back in a minute again. I'm back again. Oh, good. They're lovely there, aren't they? But yeah, it's mad how everything's taking such a lot longer than normal. Right, I'm going to use this 2B now, or HB, or whatever you've got, to do a little wiggly line. To become a bit of a path. We'll think about lights and darks in a bit. Almost coming up to time for tea. I see. Got him well trained, Rosemary. Oh, cool. Now, I know it's kind of a misty scene, but I think I want the light to come from, I'm going to have the light coming from the right. So I'm going to slightly darken with a little bit more pressure the right hand side of the pathway, because it will cast shadows. So the light is going to come from the right. And I might have to use a pencil eraser just to soften the path at the back, because it's a little bit too hard. And I can use it to lighten the left hand side. The trickiest thing with the pathway is to make it look flat and less like a tornado that's fallen over. An explosion in a Twiglets factory. Heather, what a wonderful description. Well, I guess it kind of is for now. That's going to make me chuckle. I don't think I can emoji from here. I haven't used a smudgy stick or anything yet. Right. Getting there. Slow process. That's okay. Right. Oh, it is 3 o'clock, so I think you all deserve a cup of tea and I deserve some gin. So I think we'll break for 2 or 3 minutes, or however long it takes your kettle. I've got a super fast kettle because I'm posh here. So yeah, it doesn't take me very long to do one drink. So we'll have a cup of tea. Everything stops for tea. Back in a minute. Right. Oh, the birds have stopped as well, haven't they? Let's get the birds back. Managed to wash my hands properly, which is good. Good. Yeah. Well, you in acrylics and stuff you would. In watercolours we'd have to mask it out, you see. So that's why we've had to do a different way for this way as well, because drawing and watercolours are so closely related. It's unbelievable, because you have to work from light to dark in exactly the same way, and you have to sort of reserve the whites, as it were, and the only way you can reserve the whites in drawing is either by using a template or a stencil, or leaving it, or sort of doing what we've done and kind of semi-masking it. So yeah, it is very different to how we would normally work, because we've got a lot of white areas in the foreground. The reason why I've done it like this, because the only other option, I need to just get that paper. The only other option would have been to have actually drawn the trees first. Do you know what I mean? And it wouldn't look as natural, because every tree would have an outline, you know? So by doing it this way, it means that we've not got chunky outlines of trees. We've actually got more subtle lines, which helps give the softness of the scene. So yes, it's a different technique, but I like to show you similar things. Like Liz said, when was it? It would have been a couple of months ago. We did a silver birch wood with the toadstools and what have you underneath, didn't we? It's not in this book, so it must have been in. Is it in this book? No, it must be, because I've got the blue tit, the forest with the wall, the elephant that we did on an evening. Oh yeah, all of your cricket match ones were amazing, by the way. When you did those, no, it's in my old book. So this is sort of more of a subtle way. But what you could do is, on some of these darker ones, just erase little bits of light with whatever. 1st of July, thank you. Can you hear me now, Robert? No. Just use a little bit of rubber. So we did that on July, thank you. No. On Facebook. Good plan. So I'm just using an eraser to just rub out patches of light on these darker trees in the background, so they've got that hint of light. Just breaks it up and stops it from looking less chunky. Yes, you all did. Lovely. Yeah. Oh, yes, I remember, Dee. That's the day you bought your battery eraser, wasn't it? And then you were erasing your fairies everywhere. Yeah, this is only a couple of weeks ago, a month ago. No. I think that is the downside of the battery eraser, is that there's no constant button. It's hard to keep it gripped onto, you know, and keep the on button held on, because I find that hard or frustrating. Okay, so we've got some hints of stuff. I'm not going to put any gnomes in this one, I promise. He says. I had quite a lot of entries for my giveaway of my otter painting. So I'll be I've got a randomizer app, so I'll put everybody's name in that has entered, and whichever one it says, I'll be posting off my otter painting. So I want to do a bit of grass. I ought to show you camera 2 just so you can see how amazing my work is. Not really. Just so you can see parts of it a little bit close to. So you can see that the base of the trees are a bit ghostly like at the moment, because we need to put a hint of how's the all coming, by the way? How's yours going, Chris? Does it look anything like mine? Okay. Well, I'm doing a bit of everything, aren't I, in this today? So yeah. So I'm going to go with my 2B and no. So I'm doing little bits of grass. Yeah, foreground. Well, I think, you know, foregrounds are the trickiest thing in the world in any picture, because often they're not the main part of a picture, are they? Which is weird, because you'd think, oh, it's in the foreground, so it's got to be important. But often they're just there to set the scene rather than anything else. And I think I think people struggle because it's always like this. If we had a figure in here, the figure at the back might be the focal walking along the path, but we'd need foreground to show them in the background, wouldn't we? So the foreground is always quite important, but it's never really that discussed. Oh, thank you, Louise. You can definitely come again. So I'm just sort of doing zigzags, random zigzags, randazag, we could call that. Getting a little bit longer and more haphazard the further we get to the bottom of the page. No, because I want the bottom of the trees to be lighter in this, because we need contrast. So we're going to be really dark and really light. Yeah, but for those of you with Netflix who like a nice relaxing drama-y thing, Enola Holmes, really good. It's a story of it's sort of a semi-comedic mystery of Sherlock Holmes' sister, who's a teenage sort of tearaway. It's the girl that was in Stranger Things, the one that did all of that kind of stuff. If you watch Stranger Things, sometimes I just watch things because I want to watch something and I don't know what to watch, so I'll just stick Netflix on. Because I still don't watch all of those massive hours and hours of art programs. I will have to, but it's really not what I want to do when I get home. You see, I love Pompeii. I was obsessed with Pompeii as a kid. Yeah, no, I like all of that stuff. But when I get home sometimes I just want mind-numbing stuff, which is where main telly's quite good. But Netflix I only pay like £5 a month for, so it's a really good value for me to switch off. But I often find, you see, if I go onto YouTube, it's kind of a rabbit hole, isn't it? Oh, is Sky Arts on Freeview now, Sue? That's going to be useful because that means I can probably downgrade my package when when my subscription expires. Sky Arts is on Freeview, or so Sue says. Yeah, this is it. I have to pay for the next package up on Sky, so I can get Sky Arts. I love Sky Arts. Well, that's good. I might ring up, because I'm due to ring up and have my annual complaint with Sky, and that's usually when they give me something free. Because I don't really watch much telly. I know we're talking about telly, but I don't really watch much at all. However, it costs such a lot to have a landline and Wi-Fi, which I use obviously for work and everything at home, because I do just as much work at home as I do here, that they say when I complain, they go, oh well, we'll just charge you for your phone line and your what's it. But I think I am due for my annual moan. It's so expensive, isn't it? I mean, that's my only lavishly thing, is a mobile phone and Sky TV. That's kind of how rock and roll my lifestyle is. Yeah, you haven't got a smartphone, have you? Yeah, we see I've got an old rotary phone on my landline. They just presume everybody's got everything now. So I've not done much in the background, if you notice. I've just done a few little flicks and lines. I've gone more concentrated on the foreground. And you can add a few twigs and things in the foreground if you want. just to make it a bit more interesting. And I haven't forgotten that we've got the light coming from the right. I temporarily did just forget telling you where it was coming from. It's nice, a little path for badgers, this is. So far it's all done with just the one pencil. I like doing lessons with just one pencil. Obviously it depends on your graphite stick and stuff. Might use my smudgy stick in a bit. We've got loads of time, so you know, nothing to stress about. It's October tomorrow, I'm just thought I'd tell you. It's funny how it suddenly starts feeling like it though, isn't it? We've got loads more bats and pumpkins still in stock. So, if you need any more, or you want to paint a tea light holder, let me know. Boris is talking to the nation at 5. Oh, is he? I've not heard any wind of what it could be about this time. Well, I don't know. I don't think we need a national lockdown again at the moment. Certainly. It is, but like here, we've only had 4 cases since July. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do worry if we have, because I think a lot of businesses just won't survive if we go into a second lockdown. I really, I'm quite fortunate that I've managed to adapt mine, um, but not all businesses have that um, ability to be able to understand the technology enough to adapt it, um, or anything. And obviously the theatre, the whole of the theatre world still isn't reopened, has it? You know, I mean, the millions of people that are out of work. Well, they've trialled it in a few places, but the government was still not happy with how it looked, because they were trying to do. There was a hashtag going around where they were literally saying, you know, take every other seat. Oh, seat out for free or something like that, instead of eat out for free, or seat out to help out. That was it. They changed the eat out to help out to seat out to help out, to basically say that theatres would, if they missed every other seat or every 2 seats or something, it would help. Yeah. And in a theatre, you're all facing the same direction, aren't you? And there's a massive airspace because it's a huge auditorium generally. Or yeah, yeah. And it's the same as all of the mental health issues, isn't it? That have been brought on through being locked down. Um, a huge amount of mental health issues from people. Now, somebody like me who already had severe anxiety and mental health issues to start with, um, after a little blip initially of lockdown, I coped really well with it. Um, because everything that I've always overthought was coming true, so it kind of like I kind of was a lot better than a lot of people that don't normally suffer from anxiety or what have you. Um, mhm. Nope. Ju- just using my smudgy stick to give me a few shadows from these trees going across. I can't remember. There's a site, Liz, that they tell you every day per county or council about cases and things. I try not to look at it very often, to be honest, because I don't think it's that helpful to be so glued to the news of everything. I look to see what I need to know, and then I don't look at anything else because I don't want to be thrown into a blind panic about things that it is hard to get a balance because I know so many people that um, are desperate for answers that they start turning to YouTube and everything where you know once you start taking YouTube as your news source, I think that's where it can start to spiral because not everybody on there has training. They're just people with ideas and yeah, and that's the other thing with social media, isn't it? Everybody's become a virologist over recent months, and I'd rather listen to those that kind of know what they're talking about a bit more than Steve from um, Ashford or something. Right, so I've put a shadow coming off the page. There are no trees that are visible, but I'm doing a bit of shadow because it shows that we're within a woodland rather than just stuck to the trees that we can see. I'll have to try and get back for 5 then, just in case. But if we have another lockdown, I'm going to treat it slightly differently because I'm not going to be able to carry everything that I do. Um, because I think offices and schools and work will still be open. Um, so I can carry on doing it. I think it'll just be public and stuff. So we'd just sell it all online again like we did, and as long as the post office is open, which it should be, um, I think I'll be all right. I might pick up a few more students again if everybody's having to shelter. Well, certainly for the moment. I mean, that might have it might have to happen towards Christmas. Who knows? This is the trouble. Everything's so up in the air, and this is why I'm really not even contemplating reopening the classroom at any point, because, well, if I open it one week, I might shut it the next. And it might be that it takes me another 6 months to a year to not have the classroom because of what's going on. I don't know, but I know for a lot of you enjoy the online classes. I know it's not the same as the real life ones, but I know it's just as good in terms of educational content. It's just you miss out on the other stuff. I know, yeah, just one line. But you can, I've got to check Anne and Chris on Discord or talk to you about it. But if you're on Discord, like Rosemary can, you can share me your photograph, or you can turn it to your webcam on, and you can show me as a live stream on Discord. What are you on Discord with, Chris? Are you on your phone or is it on a laptop? Yeah, there should be an option for the for a camera. I'll check that it's switched on for you, but I'm sure it will be. It should show, because I can do it on my phone. Well, I think it's yes, biscuits. Although I'll still be able to order online from locally, and you see that's where I know Shop Happy's having a huge change over the next month. I think where the Visa investment's going to kick in and make it more user friendly as a website. So I'm quite excited about what's going to be happening there. But I'm so grateful that the bid got Shop Happy on board in Banbury, so you can still support your local shops, those that have bothered to be on it. I will. Well, I'm getting used to doing all this baking, as long as I can still get flour and stuff, and the panic buying idiocy hasn't started. I mean, as if you'd think that these people would realise that we didn't use more toilet roll than normal. Yeah, I know. And flour and everything is well, bread flour. You see, I tried on with my veg box, and it was out of stock for the next 3 or 4 weeks, because people have booked it in advance, which is just madness, really. Yep. Oh, it is raining, but D. Yes, I've just spotted the walls of the shop opposite. Quite rainy. Yeah, show it. Yeah, show it. Yeah, you need it. You need it a bit wide. Right. So on the angles, Rosemary, where you've got the bends. It is looking nice. where you've got the bends, you want to make them more, less curvy, more jagged. So bring the bends out a bit more. Because you want it to get, it's supposed to be narrower at the back, wider at the bottom of the page. But instead of it being all curvy, you want it sort of more zigzag rather than a curve. It makes it look a bit flatter. Because if you're looking, we know it's curvy, but if you're drawing the curve, it'll look like you're looking more down on it. Whereas if you angle the curve and make it a bit sharper, it looks like you're looking across at it. Because for the background trees that we've rubbed out, I'm going to use a just a pencil to get the texture of the trunk. And what I'm going to do is start on the dark side. It's a bit hard for me to do this the right way up. I'd normally do it upside down. Leave your path for now, because that's, I mean, you don't even have to have one. I've gone with a 9B. Thank you, Sue, I had forgotten. Forgotten to tell you. No, it needs a long edge though, because I'm using it on its side. This is 9 I'm using now. A 9B. And I'm pressing down quite hard. But more pressure on the left hand side, because that's our dark side. I might have to check my roof in a minute because it's full of leaves now. It's autumn and we're getting to the point where it will start blocking and flooding my shop again. That's the downside of renting this place. So I'm hopeful that the texture of your paper may yeah, if you can put the flat of your length of pencil down on its side, it makes a huge difference. Okay, you'll need to refresh then if I've frozen. It could just be the weather. Oh, the Wheel of Doom. Hello, that's me. Let me flick to camera 2 just so you can kind of see what this monstrosity is. So they kind of look more. Again, I'm trying not to outline it as such. I'm just putting more weight on the left hand side, so as I bring it round, it's creating a bit of texture. I might use a graphite stick for the foreground. So let's go back to camera 1. Now, I might have to do these 2 thinner ones in the same way with the pencil, because I don't think I'll have the control over my graphite stick. Because what you don't want it to just look like stripes, so you want to put some pressure on, lift some pressure, put some pressure, add a bit more pressure, because otherwise it will end up just being just a series of stripes on the tree. Try and curve it a little bit as the trees are getting a bit broader, because that will give us a bit more of that realistic texture. I might use this for some of the shadows on the path as well. Yep. Yeah. I think Nick has to catch up a lot because he's at work now, isn't he? So he's no. You want to leave as much light as possible on there, because then that gives us that contrast. I think I've put too much pressure on my lead and just snapped it off. might put a few darker twiggy branches on while I've got this 9B. I might have to sharpen it again, but that's such a lot of lead to way stiffer. I've snapped it right off by pressing down too hard on the edge. No, I've got a sneaking suspicion today's announcement will be restrictions to pubs and restaurants. Well, nightclubs have been opening at 3 o'clock, haven't they? In the afternoon, so they can get more drinks in. I mean, I can understand why, because obviously they need to make an income in some form if there's no financial help for them. Yep. Just in a few darker flecks to get extra texture. I hope you're enjoying this. You're all being very quiet, so I'm hoping that that's a yes. Yeah. Yeah, darker. What phone did you get then, Chris? What is that? That's not the one with 3 cameras or anything, is it? Front and back. Yeah. See, I upgraded to an 8. I mean, they're on an 11 now. I don't think I'll never be able to get an 11. I can't afford to upgrade to these phones when I need to. But because... yeah. I mean, sadly, I'd love to have no smartphone and all of this, but it's more useful for me than my actual laptop most of the time. I wish I didn't. I'd love to not have it. I really would. Right, I'm going to use my graphite stick, my 9B, I think, because I can put the whole thing on its edge. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Well, you see, I can remember when I was at college, they made us all word process all of our essays. They wouldn't accept handwritten essays anymore. So I got an Olivetti. My mum bought me an Olivetti word processor. You know, with the cartridges and stuff, and then eventually got a big ancient PC with the floppy disks and all of that kind of thing. Yeah, they would not accept handwritten anything. And I was doing art. You wouldn't think though in an art environment that they'd insist on everything being technological, but my 2 art tutors always used to say to me, okay, try doing your art on the computer this time. What will it look like on the computer? And I kept saying, I don't want to work digitally. I want to do proper art. I want to learn skills, not clicking buttons. I did something on the computer just to pacify them, but I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, it was like that. When I was at primary school, we had one computer under the stairs, and it stayed under the stairs because none of the teachers knew how to use it. None of them wanted it, and none of us knew what to do with it because we'd never seen one. Well, oh wow. It's all there, isn't it? Exactly. I mean, when you think about it, they say the average smartphone has more computing capacity than the rockets that took man into space in the 60s, which is amazing, isn't it? And we take it all for granted, and anybody under 25 or 20 won't really know what life is like without it. What, on an old rotary phone? Oh yeah. You see, I can remember having to go down the road to the phone box to call mom for something or whatever when I was a kid. Yeah. I You want to make some of your dark bits in big thick stripes. Make some more oval, like eye shapes. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be random. I really think randomness is so difficult because you can feel so accomplished and think right, and then you look at it and you think they're all exactly the same shape and exactly the same size, but you believed at the time you were being random. Let's go a bit darker with a few branches with this. Oh, that's fine. It is. It's sort of getting the texture. I think is an important part of the birch bark, and the contrast. You kind of have to add more contrast than is possibly on the photograph. And there are some bits that are a bit darker. Is it less of a twiglet factory now, Heather? Or should I not ask? Well, you see, once everything's on, you might find it easier to start looking at the contrast. Now, I might go with sort of a... I'm sure it doesn't look worse. I'm sure it doesn't, Heather. I might have to go with like a 7B in the pathway area to sort of bring it out so it still looks like a path. Because it's quite easy, again, to lose the texture of it. It is, and so with overlapping trees, that's where you need extra contrast to make some look darker, some look lighter, to get that effect. But hopefully, you've seen a totally different way of doing the birch trees, unlike last time, and some different things. So we've done a bit of masking and that kind of thing today. And your trees should look a bit more natural and misty, rather than just heavy outlined chunks, which is what we're after today. And I suppose the deeper you manage to use your smudging over the paper templates, you see, if I'd got loads and loads of time, I would have probably cut out the trees in paper and laid them on and slightly tacked them on or something with a bit of blue tack, and then done it over, so I could have made the shapes a little bit more wonky. But it was hard. It would have been very difficult for me to have explained to do some. You know, you need some scissors, and if they're too sharp, make sure you've got a grown-up by you, and or a grown-up to help you. Weeks before, exactly. Or in the class it wouldn't be different, because I could provide the paper and the scissors, you know. But it's always it's I have to do things in a slightly different way online, to allow for the fact that we're all online and we're all in different places doing different things, and we're all on different in different rooms, in you know, on different surfaces, so it all makes a big difference to how things look, because the lighting is going to be different to all of you. Those of you that come to the classroom know it's got 3 daylight bulbs in the middle of it, so it's really bright and white light, whereas on home you might be using a warm light, which will make a big difference to how the scene looks. You could, if you wanted to, add more rounded sort of leaves at the end of the branches with a 7B or something. I'll show you what I mean if I can find my 7B. Well, that's the 5B, but where's the 7B gone? What's that one? 7B. So on some of these I might just do sort of wiggly dabs, if you wanted to give the illusion, because birch leaves are more rounded. It depends what you want to... You see, by adding those leaves on, it's changed it to a sort of softer looking image. So it's not as harsh in terms of an environment feel. So I don't know. It depends what your gosh is 4 o'clock. Look at that. Yes, but you see, if you've got a graphite stick, you know, like a long thin stick like a pastel, you could literally just press the stick down and push it up into the shape of a tree, and it will give you extra texture. So there are a few things you can do, but basically it's trying to get the contrast, and you want the things at the front to be dark and the things behind just to be a little bit more nondescript. But of course I'll take a photograph of this. I'll just let you know what's coming up this week. It's Wednesday today, isn't it? So tomorrow morning is Standing Stones in Mixed Media. Thursday afternoon is a hair gazing at a supermoon, not like any others that we've done, so it will be new. Nothing on Thursday evening. Friday morning, the start of a 3-week course on the art of ancient China. Friday afternoon is a peacock butterfly in watercolour. Saturday morning is my free demo, which is an autumn woodland in soft pastels. Monday morning is water lily in acrylics using a double loaded brush. Monday evening is the hair gazing at the supermoon in watercolour. Tuesday afternoon is a tree with amazing roots and autumn leaves in acrylics. Nothing on Tuesday evening, and that brings us to Wednesday, which is the West Highland Terrier in pencil. So we've got loads of things to look forward to and come up over the next week, and I look forward to you joining me on those and seeing what fun we can create and how filthy. I mean, I've washed my hands twice today. I am in a mess, but it's all part of the fun, isn't it? Yeah, I'm really grubby today. So if you are brave enough to share what you've done, I do look forward to seeing. There's no race. If you need time to fiddle and faff, you take that time to fiddle and faff, which is fine. So thanks so much for joining me today. It's been lovely to have all of you joining me, all 16 of you. So take care, whatever you do in the rest of the week, behave. It's nice to see you in our classes if you are able to. But if not, maybe I'll see you next Wednesday. So or at the free demo on Saturday morning on our shop's Facebook page. So thank you for joining me, and take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye. Bye.